Hey folks, and welcome to part 2 of this two-part series that I was making on how do Indian Chinese families celebrate their Chinese New Year here in Kolkata, India. Now if you haven't already watched part 1, then I would suggest that you go to my channel, check that video out. I'm going to put it up in the description box as well so that it becomes easier for you to click on it and then go and view that video. And in this video, we're going to talk about the Light and Sound Fest that the Indian Chinese community had organized in Femoy, which is a Chinese school here in Tangra, Kolkata, India. And I'm also going to talk about the Food Fest because they had a lot of stalls in the same location, in the same, you could say, event. So that's what this video is going to be all about. So let's start and take a look at what the Indian Chinese community did with the Light and Sound show. Let's begin, folks. This Sound and Light Fest or Food Fest was organized at this place called Femoy, and there were also these places where you could scan yourself, not scan exactly, but kind of sanitize yourself before you enter. It's a nice precaution taken by the Indian Chinese community and the organizers of this event. And you had a lot of security personnel here, as you can see, and they were all kept at the entrance to make sure that only the ones with these valid tickets or passes would be allowed to enter. So once you had secured these passes, you would be able to enter, and that's exactly what we did. And this was the entrance. As soon as you enter, since this was the year of the ox, as you can see, there is a silver ox which was kept on display, and it looked magnificent. In fact, there is the light and sound display that is happening behind the ox. As you can see, a lot of activity happening behind the ox, and from a distance it looked amazing, and I'm going to show you how it looked from a distance in just a bit, but just panning across to show you how beautiful and how magnificent this actually looked. And I don't know if the camera is doing justice to it, but personally it was a splendid sight, and beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now it was the third day of the Chinese New Year and the second day of this Light and Sound Fest or the Food Fest, and as you can see, there are a lot of people on the second day of this Light and Sound Fest. People all over the place having a good time, obviously, and there were a lot of these food stalls. As you can see, this one's called Shining Star Food Stall, and just like this, there were so many options that you could choose from. For instance, there were some items from the bakery at this place called Nicole's. We did try out some of their tarts and cupcakes, and they were delicious. The cake was really soft and nice, and as you can see here, there are some chops, some potato and meat chops, I believe, and you had a wide variety of options that you could choose from. And moving on to this particular stall, you had some beef meatball soup, and again, very popular here with the Indian Chinese community. You had some chaat, you had some beef tikkis here in this particular stall. I didn't get to try these out, but just zooming in and showing you what are the things that were on offer. Now, there were also momos available at this particular stall, and all these were freshly steamed, and all you had to do was just place your order and it would be steamed, and it would come off that steamer and to your table straight away. And all these items that you see are all part of what was being offered. Now this was just one side of this food fest, and of course you had this stage where you have all these motorbikes, and these motorbikes would be given away as a kind of a lottery win, because there's a draw that happens based on the tickets that you purchase, and some lucky winners can actually win or have a chance of winning these bikes. Now coming to these chart counters, we all know that Indian Chinese, we love our chart. and that's why you have this dedicated chaat corner where you could find chaat like some gugni chaat, some aloo dum, and you even had some bhel puri, and even some chillas that was freshly being made, as you can see out here, all being prepared right in front of you, and it would be served hot and fresh. And moving on, again, as you can see, a lot of young people all around the place, and of course they all come from the Indian Chinese community here in Tangra, Kolkata. There was also this stall by Guptas, and you could have a wide variety of things that you could order from, like kebabs and Indian dishes. You even had a kulfi corner, as you can see, so you could order some malai kulfi if you wanted to, and again, I mean, it would be given to you in these clay kind of trays or clay plates, and you'd be able to enjoy them. If you are a kulfi lover, then this is definitely the spot for you. Now, this was one of the most popular stalls here in the food fest. It is a stall called AJ's Grill, and let me tell you that I haven't had burgers which were so good in a very long time. And AJ's Grill, man, they serve some really good beef burgers, let me tell you that. Now, moving over to Kulhar, this was a kind of a unique offering, a kind of a health offering, where they have this concept of giving you healthy food and even nutrition plans. So this was a kind of a unique thing on offer here. Moving over, they had this corner by Stunts, where you would get some pastas or pizzas, and even some items from the bakery like brownies or slices of cake and sandwiches, etc. And moving over to this place where you had kebabs, and in fact there were more than a couple of options where you were getting kebabs, and all these dishes, as you can see, were available at this place called Dish Out. You had some tandoori chicken if you wanted to order some mutton rogan josh, which is a very popular Bengali curry, and all being prepared in front of you in this tandoor. And there were just some items on display as well as to what you could order from here. You also had this stall by Zaika-e-Awad, where you had biryani and some Mughlai dishes that would be available to you. So as you can already see, there is a lot of variety on offer. As you can see, there was this dedicated stall called Kebab or Chacha, where you had some delicious kebabs, even fish kebabs, as you can see hanging in front of you. And again, a lot of options, just too many options that you would literally be spoiled for choice. And as I move over to this particular stall, now this had cookies on offer called Nona's Cookies. I did get to try some cookies like shortbreads from here, and they were delicious, let me tell you that. And as you can see, they had some cute little baskets and trays that they had placed their items on, and they looked very presentable and very cute if you ask me. And cookies like chocolate cookies, Belgian chocolate cookies, and even salted caramel shortbreads, and their Nutella cookies were also very good, but they got over very, very quickly. Out of all the stalls that I got to try out, this was my personal favorite, AJ's Grill. And they served up amazing grilled beef, pork, and chicken, and some of the best burgers that I'd had in a very, very long time. The beef was so succulent and tender and juicy, and man, it was amazing. And look at them make all these burgers, the right amount of onions, lettuce, quality ingredients, cheese on top, grilled to perfection, and it was so good that we took some back home, and even on the second day when we microwaved it, it was still very juicy. That's how good these burgers were. As to what we ordered for ourselves on the table, then we ordered ourselves some beef meatball soup, and this is a favorite with the Indian Chinese. We also got ourselves some fried momos or fried dumplings, and these were chicken dumplings. And then we got ourselves some chicken sao mai. Again, very popular with the Indian Chinese. We have this quite often, even for breakfast. And even some baos. This was your pork barbecue bun, or char siu bao, as we call it. And as you can see, it's got that red roasted pork inside. And then of course there were the burgers from AJ's Grill, our personal favorite. In fact, our kids also loved these burgers, and you can see them, how much they're enjoying these burgers, getting a couple of thumbs up from the kids. And again, let me tell you that these burgers were absolutely fantastic, and they were from AJ's Grill. We also had some singing by an Indian Chinese brother, and what's so good about this is the fact that the Indian Chinese community here have completely embraced the Indian culture, even pop culture. As you can see, they really love Hindi movies, they love Indian songs, and here you have this brother who is singing a Hindi song, and he's singing it really well. And it goes to show that Indian and Chinese, they can live in harmony, in peace, instead of what's been happening at the borders. This is in fact a perfect example of just that. Indian Chinese singing Hindi numbers, dancing to Hindi tunes. It's amazing. It was so good to see this, and it brings a smile and a joy to our faces. And this is exactly what we need. Instead of quarreling or fighting along the borders, this is what needs to be promoted. In fact, very good indeed.